You're live.
Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting of Court Council to order. First order of business is the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next order of business, approving the minutes from the previous meeting. I have a chance to.
All right, all that in time, and make a motion to approve. I'm second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approving the claims and signing the bills.
I apologize for sending you out late today.
Any concerns around those, or questions?
I didn't see anything that jumped out. I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Heather, all in favor? Or sorry, is there a second? All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Planning zoning.
Nothing for planning zoning yet.
Turn time over to Sheree for the manager's report.
Okay, so the first one is for water maintenance. This is gonna be generator quotes. They do have a generator right now, but they got that generator with a piece of equipment that was bought separately. And so this generator cannot run the equipment out in the field that they're using. So they do require a generator with more power, it's 5,000 watts minimum. I have 3 quotes on here. In this page here. The first one's gonna be for $849. The second one is for $1019, and then the third one is $999.
Motion to approve both ours.
Second. All in favor? Opposed?
Okay. The next one is just a general kind of question on how to proceed with this one. So the water department got their new truck in, and it brings their current total to 3 employees with 3 vehicles. But this department, I was told, usually have 2 vehicles at a time. So I don't know if we want to keep 3 employees, 3 vehicles, or if we want to auction the old one, or reassign it to the streets department like we have been doing. There's one direction.
Can the street department use, or would they be,
They have their current old one from the previous new one
probably
a
got
couple of years ago. It's about the same mileage. This one is 148, and he says their old one they got in was 150,000 right now. So it's,
so
Is
same.
it Stacy or Kenny?
this one's Stacy's old truck.
Stacy's trying to, she's talking about re-signing to Kenny.
Yeah,
Okay, was that the one who was having multiple issues?
this one, no, Stacy's doesn't have issues, I don't believe.
I'd make that motion to make that transfer.
Let's say, all in favor?
Okay, and then another informational one. So the emergency vehicle and equipment maintenance, it has been bid out. Who wants to attend the bid opening on Tuesday at 3:30? Actually, confirmation.
I will. I know I did.
We gotta have at least one board member there.
What day of the week? It's a Tuesday.
Yeah,
I will shoot them.
okay. Okay, so Paul will be there. I'll send a reminder to you. The next one has an attachment here. So, this one's a town hall parking lot signage. We have a couple of options. So proposing either doing, 2 signs at the entrances here, that say town hall and police parking only, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., violators be towed, no overnight parking. Or we could go with the whole thing which requires signs for each parking space. So that's completely up to you all on how you'd like to proceed with it. Here's a little magic sketch or something.
So are we running out of spots? I mean, what, I
Yeah.
guess what prompted this is what,
So daily, we have people kind of parking all the way back here, most of the time the town employees, sometimes they're parking not even in a spot, just to visit, get paperwork done here in the town hall. So might be viable to have some.
but it's only our people, it's people actually,
Yeah, coming to the town hall, they're not, there's a lot of people that are not finding parking when they're actually coming to town hall. A lot of these people that are parking here are not coming to town hall.
that's what I.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got there finally.
Took me a bit, yeah.
Yeah, now I think some of these employees will run,
Yeah, the next building here, they're parking.
they're parking up in here sometimes, on this, up against the building sometimes. And that's where the utility parks in Gina Park to get up here. But if they go to lunch or something, somebody's pulling in their spot, then they have to.
My opinion, and everybody else on the board can have their own opinion, my opinion is we start with a sign at each entrance and then see how that works before we
Meaning just
spend a fortune on
Individual
signs.
signs.
My opinion,
a sign saying it's town hall parking only or.
yeah, town hall police business parking only, during the weekdays, I mean, weekends and evenings, it's free for all, but, and see if that doesn't help. But no overnight parking, but that's standard for any of our parking lots. We don't have signs here, place them.
Good with that, chief?
Yes, sir. Will we have an ordinance for that, sir? Will there be an ordinance for that?
We have,
Yeah, we own
we
it.
can post a sign without an ordinance to begin with.
The post sign, yeah, definitely, we can't really enforce, as far as police goes, unless they have an ordinance or law, backing that. So, we have no problem enforcing it, but we would need an ordinance.
Can we do that, Chris?
Yeah, that's
We could get the signs just first probably.
See how it goes and then.
That's probably, I think it's a deterrent to say.
You'll have to, if you do an ordinance, you'll have to, when you're intending to fine people, you'll have to publish that and all that, so, I mean, however you want to do it, doesn't matter.
The thing I suggested was, but, no overnight parking, which we already say that in all of our town lots and stuff, because I think we already have an ordinance for that, the parking areas.
The 72-hour parking.
Parking, the farmer's market, Sunset All Town lots. or
All
something.
lot, I think it does, I have to go back and look, but I think you're right.
So my thought was, put the disclaimer of violators will be towed at the bottom of the sign.
That's the motion you made.
I'm making the
Second
motion.
that.
The only other thing I have to add to this as a question is, if we're going to enforce it, should we put some sort of decal on the car to know it's a town employee? Or do we all know town employees' cars well enough to know, don't tow the whatever, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know,
Matt,
that
what do
would
you
be.
think?
Yeah, that was. Do you know our cars?
No, I think a good idea to have some way of identifying those.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't know much storm.
Or a list or something, I don't know how you wanna do that, but that was a thought across the line.
Generally, we would run the tag, before we told anything.
Then you know it is, that answers that question, okay.
These spots over here on those are not ours, right?
We own those.
We do own those, but we're not worried about those.
Yeah, double check those. I mean, completely up to you all again, but yeah, we do own those.
Pronto. So are we gonna wait to get an ordinance in place, or should we
I
just?
had the
report the sign?
signage going and
Start
then
the sign.
see if that, if we did cheers that I didn't.
So you got a motion on that, then, Heather? Is that- And I'm in motion, second. All in favor of giving some signs, aye. Opposed?
Yeah, share your sign template and then you can say yes or no on
Okay.
printing it, just so you have the.
Yeah,
everybody's
absolutely.
looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next one, 309 Beach Street. So the landowner would like a letter sent from the town telling him he needs easement approval to install his water lines. So he's currently saying that he has a existing easement under the duplex in front of his home. However, even if that existed, those lines are cut off, they're not there. We cannot rebuild sewer lines under an existing duplex. So I was wondering if we can get approval to send a letter. And I can work with Chris on this on,
You need to do that.
And why, this guy claims he has easements. He litigated against his neighbor, that owns the property next door. He lost the trial court, he appealed it, he lost on appeal, and he agreed to appellate, decision, says he never proved that he has an easement. So he's wanting us to tell him, like, we can't do anything, he doesn't have an easement, he's never proven he's had an easement. And so there's nothing we can do to help him.
That would be a document, would he need to like come out with a document saying to prove that? Is that?
I mean, normally you'd have a written easement that's recorded that you'd just be able to get to the courthouse and say, here we go. But he litigated it with, we were not involved in the lawsuit. He sued his neighbor, maybe his neighbor sued him, I think he sued them. He lost, he appealed the decision, and if you read the court's decision, it says he's never proven that he claims he has an easement, but he's never proven it. So I can say I have an easement.
you know.
It's like, on
And
anybody's
to
property,
back
but I
that,
can't
the
prove it.
recorder's office called me today, earlier, and he called him a couple of times, multiple times, and the only thing they have on file is the deed. So,
We sent this guy a letter years ago saying we would waive any tap fees for this guy, but we can't put a line in on somebody else's property without somebody granting an easement. And you start doing that, you're just setting yourself up for the city.
When you gave the letter, that would be my motion. He's been told once and accepted.
I mean, is there any harm in sending a letter again? And it just.
I don't think, whether you send a letter or don't send a letter, I don't think anything's gonna satisfy this. This has been going on for
Oh,
5 years.
yeah, I remember when it started.
So I mean, I'm happy to work with Sheree on the letter. Whether it does any good or not, I mean, I suppose it won't do any harm, but I don't know whether it'll do any good either.
I mean,
hopefully talk to
he's
him.
been re-energized lately on this.
Yeah, it's hot and cold, it seems, this issue. You don't hear about it for a while, and then it's.
He found someone to listen to it. Oh,
Whoops.
excuse me.
If he can prove he has an easement, I think you guys can work with him to go across it, but he's never proven he has an easement. It's not our duty to find his easement.
Right. That's basically, he would just purchase it from buy into it, right? Would that be how that would be?
And normally you work with your neighbor, sometimes they'll charge you something, I mean.
I think one of them is trying to charge them the bottom half.
Sounds a little like there's diminished capacity here, where there's probably some kind of underlying problem where letters won't make any difference, court litigation won't make a difference, but we could at least do our part to give him the information.
I figured maybe detailed instructions might help, but hit or miss.
So do we need a motion if we're gonna, a vote on that? You guys put something together?
Yeah, I think we would be looking for that if you guys want us to talk about it.
Does anyone want to make a motion to have Sheree, Chris, work together on a letter, or Harlan, you're saying no? Been told once.
Yeah, we've been told multiple times. So it's kind of a futile effort. Kind of get some. All right, well, we'll move on then.
Okay, all right. So this next one is a ordinance. So this one is for solicitation, worked with Chief on this, and then Chris as well. So the current solicitation ordinance is from 1959, out of date, yes. So the need for modern guidelines and structures is a little needed in this situation. Attached is the proposed ordinance, just to update it. And I'm not asking for approval for it right now, but I just wanted to know if there was any feedback on this before I asked for that, next meeting.
So with the intended ordinance, I have a couple questions.
Yep.
How does it address or affect an individual that has a business downtown that's child sits up on the street and sells cookies and pop and water and whatnot to raise money for a trip somewhere.
So
How
that's-
does best address that?
There is a section in there that, is added, I can't find it off the top of my head, but there's a section that allows for that without having to apply and obtain like a permit.
So as long as the business owners.
It's not necessarily
Friends or
business owners,
something?
I think it's for nonprofits and
Yep,
things like that.
Sort of not nonprofit.
One B, an individual engaged in the solicitation of funds and or sale of cookies, candies, paper products, or similar sundries, or on behalf of a nonprofit organization or association that is exempt from Indiana gross tax rate.
Okay,
So
so
one-
that
one-
kind of does it, I guess.
Well, and it's targeting door to door, not sit there and let people come to you. Right, so like, I mean,
I think that's just a loose term, the way this reads. You're soliciting,
I mean, a lemonade stand where you're sitting in front of your house, business, whatever, versus, hi, I'm here to, sell pest control, insurance, whatever.
Yeah, the main reason was, after the flash flooding, there's a lot of people wanting to solicit,
Hey, well,
maybe false advertisement on homes. and-
unfortunately, tragedies bring out the best in people.
Yeah. A lot of non-locals coming by.
Chris, this is, the way this is,
Yeah,
is
section
it,
2A, any vendor who desires to engage in door-to-door solicitation shall first obtain a solicitation license.
so it is door to door, though, not sitting somewhere waiting for people to come to you? Is that true? But basically, it's the Girl Scouts or group like that, or it's with, kids doing fundraisers for trips to school or whatever. Not included. Political, religious speech also not included.
So then section 2B says, if the vendor intends to sell or offer to sell any type of food or beverage, town reporting planning and zoning office shall refer the application to the Harrison County Health Department for review and recommendation. So that's any,
That's just to say, if they do something like, basically a phone call to the health department and say, hey, do they have to do anything to comply with the health department rules? I mean, somebody selling cookies or something, they're not gonna, they don't have to make them do anything.
Well, I gotta say, it's kind of hard to celebrate, we got a freezer full of meat in the back of our truck, we're in town right now, take it or leave it. That's more
but that would apply to any festival or event, because they have to get peddler's license also, right? When those vendors set up, or how would we?
My understanding from conversations that I've had about this is that festivals and events are excluded from this, that those are run through whomever is running the festival or event. So,
The event manager.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like, they would come to us or whomever and pay their vendor fees and run all of that through the event, not through the town. This came up because we actually had somebody who had applied at the beginning of the year for the peddler's license to be able to sell like the light up things, during parades and that sort of thing.
Walk up down the.
Yeah, but last year at Light Up, there was a bit of a kerfuffle.
I was involved in that kerfuffle.
Yes. And that's what led this particular person to then apply for the peddler's permit, but yeah, so that's my understanding, is that it is a separate thing. If it's a Tuesday and they want to sell stuff, that's one thing, but if it's during an actual event, that all goes through whomever is running the event.
So I think we need something in this about that, in my opinion. Because I do know which one you're talking about as far as the light up totally sticks and stuff like that. And they'll be here for Oktoberfest, I guarantee it. Or Oktoberfest, I'm sorry. I was like, wait, it's in October, so it should be. So we probably ought to. Oops, is something in here about that? I don't know.
I can work with Chris on it, well,
Yeah, I don't remember there's anything in here about that now.
yeah. Okay, and then next one, and then all this again. This is the Elliott Avenue. So, that's just the ordinance, just seeking approval for only one-sided parking on Elliott Avenue. There will be no parking on the south side of Elliott Avenue. And that's next to the house that has like the newly built, wall. That makes sense, just to give you an idea.
Stop signs removed, because that will.
Yeah, no stop signs.
I've played with that the last 2 weeks, it will not.
I've been driving down, up and down, up and down, so, yeah. No stop signs, just no parking.
All right, so we're gonna take this by itself and talk about it and approve or whatever. I have more that I would like to ask or talk about in regards to that
Okay,
area.
okay.
So Heather, are you?
I am good with
With
this.
this portion, you think this is?
I'm fine with this, yes. I make a motion to approve this ordinance as written.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. And I'll get with Kenny on getting the signs for that.
And painting.
Yes.
So my question is, and somebody that knows more about the Google Earth and looking to see what we have than what I was able to accomplish, can help. If you are sitting on Farquhar, I'm sorry, if you are sitting on Elliott and you are facing Mulberry, okay? The house is directly in front of you,
Yes.
or you make that corner. There is parking allowed there, and I have a picture, and I would be happy to share. What I want to know is, can we take, basically, if you look at the intersection of Elliott here, Mulberry's here, and then it turns up the hill, okay?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Can this section from here to here, which is basically the width of Elliott Street, as it tees into it, if you want to think of it as strange with a T, can that section be no parking?
Absolutely, we can work out, and I can,
I think that to the best of my abilities, all of those houses have driveways.
Or right
And they're
in
behind the houses.
I
They're
drove
right
back
in the back
there.
there.
Yes.
I believe those houses put in like their own driveways in the back on the street that's
Yes, that
coming
one.
toward,
I
yes,
agree. Whatever that street is, I agree.
Yeah.
So if we can block, and I walked it off, it'd be roughly 30 feet. If we could go from the top of the hill corner down the east side of Mulberry, roughly 30 feet, and make that no parking, that would open that corner up immensely.
I agree.
So now you have a van, motorcycle, trike.
And a roofing equipment truck was, I mean, my gosh, that had all deck for a couple, 3 days. But if we could do that, and I think we can, because even if the second house, let's just say, the second house doesn't have parking in the back, like the first one does, I know it does for sure.
Yeah.
That would still make the parking open up almost squarely in the middle of that second house. So they would still have what I would call street front parking right in front of their house and not lose it. You're just gonna lose where they
A couple
already
of
have a
feet
driveway.
behind, yeah.
So that is my thought, if we can do that,
I'll draft up a map and everything.
we might be able to open that corner up just a little bit more for safety purposes, because it's getting really, really, really bad right here.
The difficulty comes when the bus comes in there.
I know,
Yes,
yes.
the bus is
He's
coming.
coming from the turn, he's getting on the curve on the left side, and impeding actually just the one lane is on the left lane moving
Yeah.
towards the traffic. And then he's blind to what's coming on, Elliott.
Anything to help the buses, yeah.
Well,
So I'll draft it up.
Well, I can tell you, tonight coming, I had to stop and back up to let a truck come through. So,
I've been hit, or almost hit a couple of times.
yeah, it's,
I think we're already, so yeah.
so if we can look at doing that in addition to this, I think that would help us a lot. I mean, after that, I don't know what we're gonna do one way or something, but something definitely is gonna have to give, because if not, Matt's gonna be just posted there. He must have just moved in.
Get a chance, then we camp out there.
And I'll see if, because I know there's that no parking right up there too, I'll see if we can amend that ordinance there as one or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we have there already, but that little section, like I said, show you the pictures I took, just give you an idea what I'm talking
I
about.
don't exactly where you're, there's a sign up there already, it's just that,
Yeah, it's just not far enough.
yeah.
So
Okay,
motion to approve the current ordinance for no parking on the south side of the building.
Did we vote on that already?
Yeah, did we? Heather, then Wayne.
Yeah. we-
okay. Done. Okay, last thing before I get this over to Jill. So we have a complaint that came in on Ridgeview Drive, it's 3 lots, there's not an existing home on this. I've been informed that usually they mow about once or twice during this time of year, but they have not mowed yet. This is in excess of over 18 inches from, what the ordinance says. It's about like higher than my height. It's pretty tall. So there's 3 lots, there's 1 and 2, and then there's 2 homes in the back. There is vermin and critters going towards those homes. So I was wondering if I can get approval to draft a letter with Chris and we can send that out to cut the grass.
And these are unoccupied lots.
Unoccupied.
Does that affect the rule, Chris?
About 15 inches.
Are they all owned by the same person?
Yes.
Tell me again where that Ridgeway,
Ridgeview, yes.
Ridgeview,
You had, I would have my streets down.
You're going towards the skate park, you're going up the curve towards Lanesville, you take a left, you go all the way up the hill. You're following?
Yeah.
All the way back to that section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's 2 up there. One we're going to the ordinance, and the old. On that corner.
Yeah.
It's so high, show dog can't jump over it, just for your high.
Well, thank you.
Motion to approve sending a letter to respectfully ask them to knock the weeds down.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. If there's not any questions or anything for me,
One question.
yes.
We got an email regarding fire club covered up on Capitol where Elliott meets. I've served that for 3 days. I have yet to find morning, noon, or night. I go through there 3:30 in the morning. The fire club has never been covered up, so we can let the fire and plug inspector and Elizabeth know that it's not being covered up.
I'll send that, because I've watched it very close since.
I've been
We're
watching.
You're saying
notified.
it's been a bit, it's not been blocked.
It is now been blocked.
You just have to catch it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're very welcome. Okay, Jill?
Right,
Oh,
Jill.
thank you. Sneaking up on me.
Didn't mean to. So I'm here to talk to you about the skate park, in particular, the permitting. Here a few months ago, we talked about NDOT permits for the fence as well as the curb. So NDOT said no to putting the fence in the right of way. There's a little bit of the skate park that juts out into that right of way. I think we discussed that then, that we'd go ahead and put the fence in along, which has been installed along the skate park, and it stopped at that point when it would go into the right of way. And I believe that CNR went ahead and gave you the additional materials that they had ordered to put in the full length. I feel like Rusty told me that those were at the street department, so the extra fencing. So with that, I think you all just need to decide whether you want to use that within the existing right of way. I think when we discussed it before, there wasn't, it's a very short length of fence, and don't know if that's really going to be any good to have it there or not.
Right, well, it gets, where we would have to put it's gonna be like right up against one of those jumps.
Right.
Where it's almost becomes more of a hazard there
Yes,
than it could be.
then to not have it there at all, correct. So I think, at some point, you all just need to decide what you want to do before this project is closed out. We've got one more item that needs to be done before they can close it out, and that is the curb. So NDOT did agree to allow you to construct the curb the way it was shown in that exhibit. So they did issue the permit. I've talked with CNR about when they could get out there and do that, and they said that came at a time where they're very busy, but that they will get out there as soon as they can, which I think will be sometime next month or maybe get in September. So that will be done. That is all within your price. There was some contingency there that wasn't used. So the town shouldn't pay more for that. It's all part of that price. So that's my update there. If you all have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those.
One person, cars, parking lot. Across from the skate park.
Uh-huh.
We drew around, revising that, that if you get to the wayside, forget about it, or we didn't have nickels to do it, or.
In previous discussions about that parking lot, which the redevelopment commission owns, the Court Redevelopment Commission owns that parking lot. Improving the parking lot encourages people to park across the street, right? And there's no safe way for them to walk from the parking lot to the crosswalk that you have coming across. So, I think that, I don't know how, I think we put that in that, I have to go back, Harlan, and look, because it's been a minute since we went through those prices. We can go back and look at that if you wanted to do it. Or the other thing that you could do as part of a new community crossings, it wouldn't be eligible for the NDOT funding, but I know that the town has used that to pave things that may not be paid for community crossings, but to get that economies of scale to where you could get, they had street parking lot paved one year, where you would pay your own money, but, or 100% of the town money, but it goes towards that. So we can look at that again, I can dust that off and see what that cost was, I just don't.
What sense I'd like to revisit it myself.
If we're looking into it, sure.
Okay. Can do that.
That's all I have.
So we need to decide on this, right?
I think you need to decide on the fence before you close out this project, if you want CNR and that DOT team to do something about it. If you want them to install it, I think you need to make a decision about that so they know that they have that left to do. Right now, they provided the materials, but they're not anticipating having to put anything in, but they can. But once we close that out, then it's done.
Dollars and cents regarding that, Jill.
We've already paid for the fencing, so you have it, and the installation would be part of that if you wanted CNR to do it. It's just whether that makes sense to just fence that little piece or not.
The rest of it, the fence is already there.
It's already there, yeah, the rest of the fence
It's a
is there.
wonderful-
It's just that part, and NDOT said you cannot put it in our right of way, so there's that little jut that's out there. And then there would be maybe a 4-foot section. I could be wrong on that, on the other side of that you could put in there to the parking lot.
I'm risky.
The problem is it goes like right up against the jump, one of those jumps. So if someone comes over the top, they can lay right on it.
And then there wouldn't be fencing at that concrete that juts out. There would not be fencing there at all. It would just be on this side and this side. So I don't know, it might be, as Paul said, it might be more of a hazard to have that little piece of fencing there than not have it there at all.
I would agree, it sounds like that.
It literally would be like within just a couple feet.
Yeah, it's not a very wide stretch there. So just something to think about.
Thank you, Jill.
The other thing that I have is just an NDOT reimbursement for your urban trail project. I don't know that you really even need to approve that submission, but it's reimbursement number 14 for $17,501.80. If you would like to, recommend that when you submit it.
Second.
We're good, Madam Treasurer? All in favor?
Say, Paul, will you sign it?
Yes. Thank you. We're paying, the town is paying these engineering invoices using community foundation grant dollars that were assigned to it. And then we submit that to NDOT to get an 80% reimbursement. So that's what this is. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
So I
Thank
will
you.
make mention that the handicap ramp was redone at the end of Walnut and Beaver, is that right? Right in front of the,
Visitor center.
visitor center this week, so it looks fantastic. I remember talking about it years and years ago, and it got done this week, so if anybody's seen it, it looks very nice. I had thought about it over Popcorn Festival weekend of, I thought we were doing this, and then, like, the very next day it was done, I was like, hey. So, that was good.
Kim, I got one question.
Yeah.
I have some lamps here.
Oh, yeah, so that can be something that I bring up in the future, but I just wanted to provide that first, so you can look it over.
Portable water station, front,
Hold on.
portable water station.
Oh, an update on it, it should be delivered in about 2 weeks.
And then install pretty quickly thereafter, right?
Yeah, we gotta figure out the instructions, but yes.
So we have the RSD document.
I got an update on that. Yes, so, they emailed me yesterday, they emailed me yesterday, and they said that they would provide that hopefully this week after they finalize finishing touches on that.
They need to return.
Yeah, for instance.
Thank you.
Okay, is that it?
Hail damage bids, I think we got a little adjustment there.
The hail damage bids,
Yes, ma'am.
he didn't get that to me today, so I will have that August 4th.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bridge Academy, Main Street, come on down.
First of all, thank you for shifting my normal night with you guys. I appreciate your flexibility. Leading up popcorn was a little bit crazy, so. Just to give you all a quick update on things with Main Street. We have the remainder of our events coming up listed on the first bullet point for you guys. Bluegrass on Square is the next upcoming event. That'll be August 7th, so just a couple more weeks, and we will be back on the square for that. And then the final Bluegrass will be on September 4th. Speaking of Popcorn Festival, it did happen. There were a lot of people here. Thank you very much, guys. Representing the town were the best dressed official recipient of Mr. Harlan Fisher. If you missed him, it was quite the sight, and I was hoping he would come decked out tonight, but he didn't do it. So, also you had good representation in the pop-off, with Paul coming in the runner-up spot for that competition. So, thank you guys for participating.
We'll be back.
Yes. I also want to, of course, give a special thank you to the street department as well as the police department for all of their extra efforts and being out in the heat and everything else. So we very much appreciate that.
Yeah, just a comment. I drove through Sunday morning on my route to go to open cinemas. And I was shocked.
Clean as a whistle.
I didn't see one colonel, so I was like,
Even after the
"Whoever-"
rain.
I don't know who did that, but that was impressive. I didn't see one colonel.
You could still smell it going through.
I mean, yeah, you can still smell it a little bit.
They did have a little help on the thing from the downtown.
Well, of course.
That's all. Everybody gets her.
Yes. We do have.
Has experience cleaning up popcorn.
Not quite that much in the theater though. I think Brian Churchill popped.
I've never been to one of the three kids shows.
Oh, that's right. I think Brian Churchill popped 140 bags of those great big bags.
Wow.
So, yeah. We do have a new business opening up there in their soft opening period right now. It's Wild Hearts Garage. It is a boutique fitness studio. focused on yoga and other body works. So the official ribbon cutting is going to be July 31st at 9 a.m., which is a Friday. So if anybody didn't join us, we would love to have you there. It's on the corner of Beaver and Elm. Most recently, it was the Democrat office. Prior to that, it was Rutherford Moss, ways back. I can't think what else is in there, but, and then she'll have a full, opening day the following Saturday as well, so. We do have another grant that we have received that we would like to announce. We received the Indiana Arts Commission grant for just under $4,000, which will be matched by the Harrison County Community Foundation. And that is for the installation of a mural that will go on the side of the Legend Tattoo Building. That will pretty much cover that full side that faces Capitol Avenue. So, if you look at it now, I didn't realize how many different bricks there are in that walls. I think it will look a little bit better. Yeah. And then going back to our AARP grant, we are having the check presentation for that on Monday, the 27th at 11 a.m. Paul, if you're still willing to speak at that, we'd love to have you guys join us for that if you're available. We will have representatives from AARP as well as Aaron Hopkins' office. So. And then, speaking of the AARP grant, if you look on the second sheet, you guys had previously approved for us, before we submitted that grant, approved for us to install a 14 by 24 foot freestanding structure. Now, once we received the grant, we did a little more thinking and a little more researching. And if we go with a different plan, we'll be able to provide much more shade coverage than that 24 by 14 square foot space. That space is about 1/10 of the area that is not shaded. So what we're proposing is what is pictured here. This is an AI rendering, so it's not 100% accurate as far as what the actual farmer's market structures look like. But it would be the installation of 5 shade sun shields that are 40 feet by 20 feet. And we would tie into the existing headers on the structures that are there. The bolts would go through that header so that if there were an issue of wind or anything of that nature, the attachments and tarps would tear up long before anything else would. If you look at this little image down here, it kind of shows like the turnbuckle and the bolt assembly. So we would like to have your blessing on
I assume they are pretty sturdy given the winds we do get here occasionally.
Yes, they are manufactured by a company in California, and this is what they do. They're made, this is not us rigging up something
Picking up some
from Home Depot, no. Yeah, they are made for this purpose.
So did they actually install them when you?
They do not, but we talked to Derek Franks about installing them, and he and his team are able to do that for us.
So then is the intention to remove them in the winter and keep them down so they'll last longer?
Yes, that is because of this setup, that is an option that we will have. So. But it would be nice because that would cover pretty much the expanse there, yeah.
Whichever way you got these numbers, tarp number 5, does that interfere with the gazebo music?
No, it looks like it would on this, but it really wouldn't. I forget, so it's 44 feet from post to post width-wise. And it was, I forget, 100 and something lengthwise. So the other benefit is, let's say something happened to tarp number 3. We either just wouldn't have tarp number 3, or we can shift tarp number 5 and put it in tarp number 3's spot. I think that with this plan as well, there would be extra funding from the grant that we could purchase, a replacement part for you.
It's an engineering question. Are they gonna catch a lot of rain, or are they gonna be like set up at an angle so the water can run off?
They are,
Or-
that is more a question I don't know, but they are not, they're
Oh,
they're
type forest.
the water is,
Okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
The water will do this.
Like the weed.
Is this basically the same type of material as what they use over at the fairgrounds at the sale barn? You know how they have that across,
I'm not familiar with what they have over there.
it's basically a mesh and it just cuts the sun, not the weather.
Then, yes, I gotta say yes.
So the water will rain.
Permeable. Stop the rain. You're all correct.
A little more wind.
Yes.
Tolerant too.
Yes. Well-
Here it says, set up to handle 70-mile-an-hour winds. 3-second burst. I don't know, we can have wind over 70 miles an hour.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if it's this low, but the area.
Well, and the good thing about, usually the way the wind blows through there, it is blowing north to south as opposed to east to west, and these would be hung, these would be hung north to south, so the wind would
Before the
blow.
not gonna catch it.
Yeah. Guys, I'm not an engineer, I don't know if I picked up on that.
The only other concern or question I would have is is the existing buildings structurally sound at the joints where you want to tap into? Do we have any issue with, I know at one time we had to, fix some legs and stuff like that. Are we still okay on
As
all
far
that?
as we can tell, everything looks solid as solid can be.
Okay.
And we wouldn't be so much in the joints, we would be in the,
Beams or.
beams themselves, yeah. But that, it's built with, 6x6 and 4x6 posts, so.
I get Mr. Barrett to have a look at that while he's there doing that.
Sure.
I take a motion to approve.
I certainly.
All in favor?
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations on getting that.
Yeah, that's
That'll make a big difference.
We think so too. We're excited, and I know the folks at farmers, but in the farmers market are excited as well. So we have hit the mid-year point, so I just have a little bit of a recap of 2026 for you guys at Main Street. I know James Wayne, you may not be as familiar. I talked to you a little bit, more about what Main Street does. So just want to take this opportunity to kind of review what we've done thus far. As far as what we are responsible for, we are here to promote and preserve and enhance downtown Fort. That takes a lot of different forms. So the most visible are absolutely the events that we do, but there's a lot that goes beyond that as far as like the grants, the facade program, working with the merchants, figuring things out like with the peddlers ordinance and all of those things. So when it comes to this year specifically, we have either had or have on still scheduled. We got 11 events downtown. They started our first one in February. We will end with our last one in December, so we run the full length of the year. The biggest ones of those are, of course, the Popcorn Festival, which we work with a lot of other agencies on. Glasstoberfest, which we work with Zimmerman's on, and then Light Up Portland. Those are the three biggest events that we are part of. This year, we brought Bluegrass on the Square back, and we are looking ahead to 2027 at some different event options to try and reach out to a broader demographic of folks as well. The more people we can get in downtown Portland, the better. In addition to the events, like we talked about the farmers market, it is a 27 weeks. So between the 27 weeks of the actual market and the planning, it is about a 10-month responsibility that right now is being overseen by one of our board members. And next year we were bringing on one of the current market vendors who will be overseeing the market next year. Average attendance at the farmer's market is around 275, goes up or down. Last week it was down a little bit because it rained. Popcorn Festival week it was up a little bit because there are a lot more people here. But it's become a third space for a lot of folks as well, which is another reason why the shade is such a nice addition. When we have food trucks or we have vendors who are serving food, a lot of folks will come down, grab their dinner, hang out, listen to the music that's playing, because every week there's live music. And one of my things that I enjoy the most, it is one of the few spaces I feel like that is a multi-generational event. And you've got everyone from the littlest types to the older generations that are interacting with each other, eating together, enjoying their Friday nights together. One of the things that is not always as visible is the relationships that we have with our local media partners. Of course, we have a great relationship with the Democrat. They're local and they do a great job of helping us promote downtown. But we have, in the past few years, developed and continued to cultivate the relationships that we have with WDRB, WLKY, and LAVE. All three of them actually covered us for the Popcorn Festival this year. So that was the second year in a row that we've had all three cover us, which was fantastic. We also this year have had the Oprah Spotlight, which I've mentioned before. They did come back to town a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, did the interview to see what all has happened since we were a stellar community. That should be coming out from them anytime now. They will share that video. The great thing about that is that gets us recognition around the state. That will be seen by all of the folks with Oprah and different folks within our government. So that is a nice little spotlight for them to have as well. Again, the grants that we've received this year so far, and we hope to continue writing for other funding opportunities. The downtown investment that we have seen has been significant, largely because of the facade grants. Those alone, $65,000 was given out, which had to be matched by the recipients. But one entity alone was awarded $18,000 and they invested $198,000 in the building. That makes a huge difference on what our town looks like. And what our town looks like directly plays into what businesses want to be in our town, what businesses want to be in our town, plays into who wants to come spend their time and their money in our town. So it all goes full circle, but that is a huge, huge investment by you guys as well as the time and effort from us. And then we have continued to maintain our Main Street Indiana and Main Street America accreditations, which lends credibility to us as an organization, and it also makes us eligible for funding opportunities like the AARP grant. So that's just a little bit of what we've accomplished so far in 6 months of this year. We still have roughly 6 months to go. I also did want to make sure that you guys know who is on our team. So at the bottom of the page there, you will see our board of directors listed, and any of them are happy to speak to any of you guys at any point in time that you may have questions or need anything from us. I've also provided you all with a copy of our budget for 2027 and would like for you all to consider the investment that you are going to make in Main Street and in downtown Gordon for next year. And that is all, unless you guys have any questions.
Question, we have someone taking care of farmers market currently.
Yes.
So it's your name.
We're gonna change that, put someone on the vendors taking care of farmers market.
So,
Explain it.
yes, sir. Karen has more than done her time of service for the farmers market. It is, like I said, a very big commitment. So, trying to figure out a plan of succession there. Angela was singing trees. And she has been a vendor for quite some time. She is joining our board as an ex officio member. because of this new role. She will be the one who organizes and oversees the market, but, she will, in essence, be the one doing the scheduling and all of that, so.
And then reporting back to Main Street, or she'll be the point person,
That was my next question.
rather than
Yes.
me being point person.
Yes, and
Right
that's,
now, I'm the point for the market.
and that's where her being an ex officio board member comes into play as well, so she will be at our meetings.
And to that point, Angela's been very active in the food freedom. She understands food laws very well. She's she's much more knowledgeable. She's much more qualified to do this than I am. And so she'll be fantastic in this position.
So are we putting this out to all the vendors that she's gonna be the one?
We've already done that. I've done that. I've sent that out. Mhm. And that is for the 2027 season. I'll finish this season up, but that way she can see it from the Main Street side of things, how Main Street works, how Main Street's involved, and then I'll help her next season.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Do appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Any other questions for Rachel?
Thank you.
You know how to find it.
I was gonna say, I am always available for questions, comments, concerns, jokes, whatever.
Thank you. Chief Kierman, I think got some stuff for us.
Evening. So I sent out a email yesterday, with some information on it. I want to pose some questions about it. So that's what I could answer those questions today. So I don't know if there's any other questions that you want to have regarding that.
Heather, I even got some questions for that you answered too.
Somewhat.
I think I need a tour of the police department to wrap my head around it all.
I think that's a good idea. I would move it.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, anytime, so it's done. So as far as the list of items goes, you want me to go through each item singularly or have it?
What do you guys think? Individually or just approve as a unit? We've all had a chance to look at it.
I'm thinking individually, or at least somewhat group wise. So the evidence rooms section, if you will, because you kind of have this broken down into groups, if you will. That was a section that I'd like a road trip on. Just, I haven't been upstairs and since, with the attorney's office and it's up there doing other things. So that would be my comment, my personal comment, just to see how it's being laid out and stuff like that. Because in my mind, I see Harold doing it up there still. So forgive me. Did you?
So I'm not sure exactly where to go from there. So
I'm not either. I'm just throwing out my 2 cents for it. For sure, if we're doing this in groups or however we want to do this, number 7, under number 2, operational expense, our equipment, body armor. I would approve body armor for sure, no offense. I'd make a motion to approve body armor. I don't know how we're going to do all this, but
We can.
I think that
individually.
is for sure a necessity at this juncture that we need to move forward and keep the police officers safe.
there a second on body armor? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And then we can do, just go through these each one if you want.
Sure.
So the radios, would be, there'll be 2 portable radios, which is what we carry on us. And then, 2 mobile radios. So one will be used as a base station in the office area. So if the guy has radio getting charged or for whatever reason he didn't have access to that particular portable radio, still radio in that office to be used. The other one would be extra for any of our vehicles. Right now, we don't have any extra radios, so if one of our radios goes down, whatever, that officer, whoever has that radio, does not have a radio at that point in time.
So one office, one spare.
Yes, sir.
That's number 8 under operational equipment
Yes, ma'am.
for $23,153.50.
Radio.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
And this works currently with our others that we have.
Yes, ma'am. And so we're looking at going to new radios, which EMA director Mike Curtis is working on doing that. These are the radios he is looking to utilize. So we want to go ahead and get a couple of them going, and then he may be able to help us with the rest of the replacement radios on that.
So this basically buys you 1 base and 2 radios, is that my understanding?
So it buys us 1 base, 1 extra for a vehicle, because like I said, the only vehicles we have right now, they have radios in them. One was down, we don't have a radio in there. And then 2 portables, which would be spares in case one was down. Also, when we have events, parades, festivals, whatever, we have reserves from that work. They don't have any radios on them. So this will allow us to have radios for them to utilize while they're working these events.
Motion to approve the radios, item 8, $23,153.50.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And we'll just work backwards, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, because we started.
Yeah, definitely. Work our way up that way. Ammunition. So I know that's a large number there. So if we buy in bulk ammunition, we actually get up to 50% discount. So if we buy $10,000 of ammunition, we can get twice the amount if we buy in bulk. So 20,000 is not a set number. That's what we'd like to spend up to get a stockpile of ammunition for our handgun, rifles, and shotguns for training purposes. Now, I know it seems like a lot of ammunition for training. However, one of the biggest things that gets police departments in trouble is lack of training. So right now we're required per year to do 2 hours of firearms training by the state. So 2 hours of firearms training is absolutely nothing. We're getting a shooting, any defense lawyer is going to eat you alive on that. So we're going to have a lot of problems there. So one of the steps training up, in order to do that, I have to have ammunition. And we're trying to save money by buying in bulk, so we get twice the amount of ammunition for the same amount of money.
2 hours, you could burn through a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
dollars.
exactly, especially when you have 9 officers. Going through it, so.
You buy that large capacity of ammunition, where we store that?
We're stored in the vault upstairs.
Fire retardant, safety, secure,
Yeah, they're
hazard
secure.
to the building,
That should not be any
that's a
hazard.
lot of explosives.
Well, it is a lot of explosives. They'll be stored in a metal locker inside the vault, away from any heat source, away from any firearm itself. They'll be stored by themselves in those lockers in the vault.
So that was one of my questions, was the metal vault, metal locker is a fireproof, basically bomb cabinet, correct? Because I think legally we have to store that large of a store inside of a OSHA rated cabinet. I tried to do some reading to try to act like I can do a little bit tonight, so I'm trying to
I've
read up
not
on this.
seen the law regarding it, so we looked at the law on that, not seen the law requiring that. Now, I know that most police departments sort, the exact way that we're talking about storing in a metal locker, inside a security area. And so the vault will be the security area inside the metal locker, which will also be locked, so that all of that access to that. It'll all be inventoried, so we can just come and grab some ammunition or whatever. So anytime ammunition goes out, that'll come off the inventory list and know how much ammunition we have.
I thought there was an Indiana code OSHA something 17.35. Don't quote me on that I found today. I'd like to make sure we understand that, because that looked like an area that we might want to address if we wasn't. But I thought it had to be in the setting, in the vicinity, the type of location that it had to be. Basically like the OSHA fire cabinets or bomb cabinets. But I'd like to verify that
Okay.
for sure, before we end up with, a million rounds sitting in the building. That was my concern on that one.
Yeah, we will look into that, see if we find out as far as that goes.
So do we actually have, fire and safety protocols for the fact that the facility is warehousing, holding, firearms or ammunitions? Don't we have to have some sort of, safety protocols or SOPs to notify, say, the fire department that
So the
this is
fire
a
department-
hazard and, or the community? Yeah.
So the fire department, so the fire department, we will let them know, that we have the ammunition, how much we have. It's like the stores in town, they have a business license. One of the reasons for the business license is so that us, the fire department, all first responders, know what they have on site. So if they have chemicals, if they have explosives, whatever they have. So we would fall into that saying, we're not required to have a business license for that. We would report that to the fire department, so they would be aware of how much ammunition we had, location of it, and what would need to happen.
So do we currently have a safety protocol or a standard operating procedure for how that aspect is handled?
No, we do not.
I think we need one of those. What is our, process and procedure if there was a situation? If there's a fire, or if there's something, how do we handle that? What is our plan? How do we keep anybody that's around trying to help safe, that kind of stuff? But I think we need the standard operating procedure for that situation, in my opinion. I think OSHA requires that, but don't quote me on that. Like I said, I'm rusty on some of that.
We'll look into it and find out, and we'll get an SOP together on that.
So I guess my question is, do we want to find out some of this stuff before we approve the purchase of all the ammunition, just to make sure we're in line? That's my thoughts, guys. What's that to you all?
I mean, I just like, if someone's purchasing, you've got to be purchasing ammunition anyway. Right, and this is not like, this is something that's not been purchased for, you're buying, I don't know what the annual budget is for it, but you're.
Generally, we are able to purchase enough for, each officer to qualify, this firearm, one time through, qualify with that weapon. And it's not, so again, that's very lacking in, what would be required, in a different situation, where you fire your weapon, they're gonna play records and they're gonna certificate with it. So when we buy the ammunition, it's typically not a lot.
In comparison, so it's not from this to what we normally buy, this is significantly more.
Yes, ma'am.
How long would you expect this to last? Just about education.
Well, it depends on how much training we're, able to get scheduled.
And you just go through them, yes.
I would say, we could, at least probably a year, that we could make that last, if not more. Again, a lot of depends on, availability of training, just getting people together for training. But that's gonna be one of our priorities, is to get training stepped up a lot more. But, first of all, we have to have it.
So who does the training?
So we have firearms instructors, they are certified through the state. Captain Barlow is a certified firearms instructor, and Officer Harris is also.
But outside of users.
Generally, we don't, for just basic fire and construction. Now if we're going to, like, in the advanced tactical training, we might, now they also have certain technical certifications, those officers do as well. So they can work on certain technical, scenarios as well. But for, advanced training, we do go outside the work.
Doing the math roughly, it's probably 80 to 100,000 rounds, so it's just several thousand per officer there for training. Several times a year, it's not that hard to run. So,
Very quickly. So we have several different places where we can, where we go right now. So one of them, there's the EMT. He's also, Lakeville, Police Reserve. He has a property that has firing range there. That's that one, and that one going in as well. This one's the Harrison County Sheriff's Department.
We don't have to go to knob. They're local to the.
No, sir.
Now, training center. I'm sorry, now the men club.
yeah.
Something like that.
He knew that. Okay. Next.
Next would be, number 5, so that's tactical and medical equipment. And again, the 25,000 is not a set number. So that's kind of what we'd like to, have available to spend on certain, tactical and medical gear. So, we want to get trauma and medical, boxes in each officer's police vehicle, as well as on the, UTV. We'd like to get, a litter, UTV, so like a backboard, way to move somebody. Tactical equipment, to be, breaching equipment, anything that we would use for, high risk situations, ballistic shields, anything along those lines.
So do we not have trauma paint bags in police cars now?
We have some that were created probably 6 years ago. They're just a medical box. Most of that was stuff that was donated to us by the Harrison County Hospital. A lot of that stuff we've used up and not been able to replace at this point in time. So we'd like to update those as well as restock everything we have.
So on that stuff, do you have like the SOP or how to handle that? Most all that type of stuff expires, has expiration dates on, medical equipment that you carry. So what is your policy and plan for maintaining once purchased?
So anything that has an expiration date, we would log that and then we make sure that we're rotating that out on a regular basis. Now, a lot of it, there's no real expiration date. Gauze, cold compresses, anything like that, that does not have an expiration date, and then just remain there until it was used or, the legs are very cheap anymore, then we would take that out as well.
So you currently have a document that you check these on a regular basis and
We
log it
do
in
not at this
where,
point in time, because the one that was all donated, and most of what we have is non-expirable stuff, so like it's gauze, tape, cold compresses, things like that. So, nothing fancy. We have some cat tourniquets, there's no expiration date on tourniquets. So majority of the stuff we have, there is no expiration date on.
I see a lot of things in it. This keeps ringing, spreadsheet, officer in charge, checklist, each vehicle, each person. Joe Snuffy decides to take a ride, he goes, who reclaims all that equipment, puts all that back into the system, make sure we get everything back, etc. Not just to keep the car.
Right, so we have, most of that stuff we already have, especially the like firearms, stuff like that, so we have all that. Each officer, we have serial numbers, officers, we have all that information. So we're working on making a new, form that we're going to fill out that will have, all the information for basically anything that the officer issued. So body cameras, radios, tasers, firearms, and then the medical bags, so that will all be just kind of, likely, that would just be listed as medical bags. We're probably not going to go through and break down anything inside that medical bag, because we could have a pretty good idea of what's in there, or what should be in there, before they leave. So they would have to turn all that stuff in, just before they leave. If they don't, I mean, that's what certain things we can do. Now, if they take it off and don't return a firearm or something, that would be a criminal offense. So, and then, some of this stuff as well, if they leave a radio, whatever, I mean, they have to come charge file on them, something like that.
Another part of that is that the vehicle is something we have to, then all the contents of that vehicle, we don't have a record of what that is. Obviously, we can't have insurance reimburse us for the items that's in there. And some of the stuff would, we would have a large sum of things in it. I looked at some of the patrol cars.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we would definitely, we're like I said, we're working on updating our list. And now, a lot of the stuff that you see in those patrol cars, a lot of them are bought by the officers themselves. So quite often, a lot of stuff will be damaged without being property, actually the police officers themselves.
I think that even highlights it even more.
Yeah.
That we need accurate inventories of what is ours, yours, and theirs. And it sounds like right now we don't have that, so that would definitely.
Well, like I said, we have the major items, like I said, arms, tasers, radios, all that stuff. We have, all that, well, so, like the first aid box, was given to us by the hospital, so that was not purchased by the town. However, a lot of times if we restock those, we restock that out of our money as well, so we buy the stuff to go back into those.
Right, I get that, what we're doing now, but when we are buying all this new stuff,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to get this put in place because, these medical boxes, most generally speaking, if it's a medical box going to be used for public, requires every 30-day inspection. Documented inspection, you verify what you have, what you don't have. I mean, that's just one of the OSHA, 29 requirements.
So, yeah, so we, like I said, we have a sheet that we've created, with the help of, HR, individual. So we've created a sheet that we're going to go through and inventory everything each officer has. Make sure we have everything on there up to date, and then anything new we get in is also involved in that.
That's what I'm saying, I'd like to see a policy and procedure on how, what the expectation, what we're gonna be doing, because you're saying a whole lot right now, and I'd like to see, this is our policy, this is what we do, that we document this, and we check it, and we verify it on a monthly basis, and this is our check sheet, and this is where it gets logged, and this is who's responsible, that kind of stuff, because I get what you're saying, but until you get it on paper and we start following it, it's still up in the air. And spend this kind of money to stock the department and all these things, then we need those policies and procedures put in place to maintain it. Because we don't want to do this every other day.
Right, no, I agree.
So that's how I expect.
So we'll move on to the next item here.
So we approve it, and I will work on tactical equipment, right? So we have everything blocked.
Right, no, I want to make a motion to approve that budget there.
I have to go to training and make a motion to approve the technical equipment.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
So item 5, in the amount of $25,000.
Okay. Item number 4 is a autopsy. So this is it's kind of like a portable breath test that a police officer would have in his vehicle. This test for the presence of drugs. So if we have a impaired driver and they're not showing any signs of alcohol impairment, they're testing for alcohol, we can utilize this to test them for the presence of drugs. I think it's major methamphetamine, marijuana, fentanyl, cocaine, Just 6 or 7 months.
It's only for drugs stuff in my mind. It's not a manufacturer.
Yes or no?
Alcohol is a separate test.
Yeah, alcohol test. So this, they can basically swallow inside the mouth, put it in the instrument, and it will tell you what drugs are present in their system. So that way, right now, I mean, if we pull somebody over, we believe that they're intoxicated, they don't show any signs of alcohol use, they have zero on EPT. It makes it a lot harder for us to get any kind of arrest conviction. So a lot of times we just have to let him go, unless we want to take him to the hospital, have a blood test. But this will at least give us an idea of if they have drugs in their system, if they test negative for alcohol, test negative for drugs, then we'll start looking at possible medical, low blood sugar, and all those lines. So we give them medical health they need.
That would be a voluntary test.
Excuse me, sir?
That would be voluntary.
So it is a voluntary test, yes. However, under Indiana law, it's a implied consent. So basically, when we all got our driver's license, we have some paper saying we would submit to alcohol or a test for impairment, intoxication, is whatever in that situation. So this is a roadside test. So they could turn that down, but then we would at that point probably offer them the opportunity to take a blood draw at the hospital to test for the drugs as well. And then if we turn that down, then they're in violation of the license, lose their license, and so we charge with the drug law.
So we could give them the drug test, breathalyzer test, and even take them for a bath.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
So, I think the regular questions are what you put in there right now.
Yes.
So how many units of that are you asking to purchase?
So that is only, and I know it's kind of pricey, but things are these days. Now the cartridges, all of the swallows, all that stuff, will be provided, by the Criminal Justice Institute, provided, so we basically have to sign an agreement, with the sheriff in Indiana, that we receive from this with them, and then they provide, all the equipment that we need to go with this.
So you've got someone pulled over, you don't have the equipment with you, you basically call the rack up, hey, pick that machine up, coming out to, Will you're out, I got someone busted here, and then you can pull over, and someone can run right over and start doing the test.
So then the question I had on that one, you said that you would share the data, you're sharing personal test records of an individual. How does that not violate HIPAA?
So we're not bound by HIPAA, we're not medical workers. So anything that we do is public record. So you can look in the Gordon Democrat in the arrest section, and you can see everything I've been arrested for in there, what their charges were. So there's no violation there.
Right, but I don't, does that fall under test records also as far as medical test records? Because that's what that basically is. I know you can post and say they were potentially charged with, but that was the gray area that I didn't quite understand on how do you
Right, so this
share data to somebody else based on medical testing.
Right, so this is the Criminal Justice Institute, so they are another law enforcement entity, so we can share anything with them.
So you see media reports, people that, 0.15 alcohol or whatever they blow in their blood per se. I mean, it happens.
Right,
I just wasn't sure, because this is like with the new age testing, if you will.
Right, yeah, and we're not taking out sharing with the general public, it's all within the law enforcement community. This is so they can track, certain, things that are going down, how many people are being arrested for driving a little high on, so they can.
Someone gets busted here in this month, next month they'll pull over in Kentucky, they get then a flag, they're gonna get that flag that it's sharing the system.
I don't believe they would flag them, no,
Well, it's gonna be on there, I mean, it's not gonna say.
so if we arrest them, yes, so that will be on their criminal record. So if I arrest somebody at night, or whether it be from driving a little high on cocaine or whatever, that's gonna be on the criminal record. Now, when someone else pulls them over, it's gonna show that they were arrested, before that.
Okay.
But that's regardless of whether we share this information.
Oh, okay, that's a separate issue.
Yes.
So that is one machine that,
Yes, sir.
who will have that?
It will probably, either remain upstairs and then be checked out by officers, or if one of our officers. So I'm not sure how familiar you are with the church program that we've been doing through the state. So in the church program, there's several, sections that we've been enforcing. So it pays for the officers to come out all the time to do certain, enforcement operations. Clicker ticket is one of them. OWI enforcement is one. So if the guy would come out to work on those details, then they might check that out. Third shift officers are probably gonna check that out, because those guys who this type of situation happens.
That's being used in town limits in our jurisdiction.
Yes, ma'am.
So the other question I had was, I don't know what the contract with the Criminal Justice Institute reads like as far as number of cartridges. What is the cartridge cost if we have to buy them? Otherwise, because if you don't have the cartridges, this is a useless piece of equipment. What is the cartridge cost? And then the other question I had was, and I went to the site and I reviewed this unit and I've gone through all of the information that is available from this manufacturing company. And it suggests calibrations and verifications to be done, I believe it was annually or 18 months, every 18 months. I could not find the cost of that.
Okay.
So that's what I would like to know is what is that gonna cost? Because 9 times out of 10, just because I deal with this in my paid position job, it's cheaper to buy new than to calibrate.
Right, so generally,
That's my question is, are we looking at having to replace this device annually? How does that cost compare?
no, so generally, quite often, if you, with this, like, it has to be calibrated, they will do that, at a no or very low cost to the.
That's what I'd like to know. Is it no or very low or very expensive? Because
Right.
I know most of these are very expensive to calibrate.
Right. So I can definitely,
I could not find that in what I had access to.
and it was my understanding that these, a lot of now, these days, a lot of things, so they'll self-calibrate, so, it was my understanding this was a self-calibrating device, but I will definitely find that out for you. So,
I mean, I just hate to buy something that will be rendered a paperweight in a year if it's whatever, you know what I'm saying?
right, so like our PBTs that we carry, which is the portable rep test, so those don't have to be calibrated, they remain in our vehicles, we utilize that. So once they're calibrated, it goes through a self-calibration test every time we use it, calibrates itself, and then it's good to go. So it's my understanding this is the same, but I can definitely find out.
I appreciate that.
Number 3?
Okay, so number 3, I'm gonna jump to number 2.
Okay.
So number 2 is, what are considered less lethal launchers. Now, so what these are, they are a 40 millimeter launcher that they fire several different types of munitions. What we're looking at is like the foam or rubber, type round. So what this can be used for, so a taser, is good at very close range. Pepper spray is good at very close range. This is a system that we can use to incapacitate someone at a longer distance. So the guy's 50 yards out. We don't want to have to resort to lethal force, but he's, got a gun or weapon, right there with him. We can utilize this to try to incapacitate him, prior to having to go to lethal force.
We're gonna carry those along with the other stuff that we have already, or we're gonna have just in the vehicle.
So that would be in the vehicle.
Circumstances would be grabbing and running.
This is more like a shotgun.
Yes, sir.
Usually those act as a separate weapon or you might make an attachment that goes on.
There's a separate one.
And how many is this purchasing?
This would be for 7.
Did you say 6, Matt?
7, sir.
7. $49K.
$7,000. I hope you're on the wrong one. $7,800 for the launchers and an additional 5,000 for rubber bullets.
Yes, ma'am, for the munitions skill level days. And again, these, I mean, these prices may be a little high. I mean, we're just looking at having an idea of what we can use, to get the stuff that we need. So we may only spend $2,000. And again, but the price on everything keeps going up. I mean, pretty drastically, pretty quickly.
So do you have to have specialized training for these units?
Yes, ma'am, we do. Now, we have an officer on the Harrison County Sheriff's Department who is certified in teaching that. So we're not, get with them, get everybody certified.
So then does the Harrison County Police Department have these devices already that they are using?
They have, I don't know if they have these exact ones, but they do have, less lethal, I know they have less lethal shotguns. We use those, been with them, we use less fast. State Police has this brand, has these, particular things. Several of the other departments in the area, we've also are utilizing these, we don't know of any other injection built, or Clark County.
But these are basically shotguns, Leslie. What you are purchasing is a shotgun or your handheld?
No, so it is like a length of a shotgun, but it's a 40 millimeter, so it's quite a bit larger, diameter than a shotgun would be. So this can fire, like I said, rubber bullets, foam bullets, it cups fire, smoke, if you need to, it's like, tear gas, it can fire numerous different munitions. What we're looking at is at least start off with, would be the foam rounds. So like in incapacitate small enough, does a penetrating scan, it's not gonna break ribs, it's not gonna cause any kind of permanent damage. And this would be a situation where we would be authorized possibly to use lethal force, but if we don't have to, we don't want to. So we try to take them down to some instead.
Motion to approve.
Both
For-
the ammo and
For the ammo and the launcher.
Is there a second on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number one on this page, this group would be Stop Sticks. So I know that there were some questions about those. So Stop Sticks are basically, they come in, 3 sections generally. They can carry it in the vehicle. If there's pursuit, so through the training, one of the things that's training is make sure you have a safe environment. So it's a guardrail, large trees, something along those lines. So they have to stand out and utilize these. Vehicles such as sort of port.
They must be trained on the use of stop sticks.
Yeah, so all the officers have already gone through the
Grab
training.
and keep your little gloves on. Mark Evans can open up the black truck and just slung them across the road.
Well, that's the hopes is that anyone who has them would be able to open the vehicle and then pursue. So I know that Heather was concerned about the safety. So these basically they're spikes that are encased. So I can grab the thing, I'm not going to step spike through my hand, throw it out there. When the vehicle runs over, they break the casing, spikes under the tire, and there's a hollow spikes. So what they do is they deflate the tires over a 20 to 30 second period of time. So it's not just going to blow the tire out, we got to get lose control and wreck. So basically they're driving along, their tire starts deflating, they're half of that tire damage. Now it's going to lose control of the vehicle, so it's not be able to drive.
So do we have any officers trained on those now?
All of our officers have gone through the training, provided by Stop Sticks and certification. We also have our emergency vehicle operations instructors have been through advanced training through the academy, through ILE as well.
Motion to approve stop sticks.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay. I'm a nay. Okay.
Number 4 in the first group of the evidence room, so this would be upkeep, maintenance items, and tools for weapons and equipment. So it's going to be cleaning supplies, repair supplies, extra parts for the firearms and things that we need to keep the firearms functioning properly.
Motion to approve the maintenance of firearms item for $2,500.
Second on that,
Second.
all in favor? Opposed?
And, number 5, would be security monitors and dispatch monitors, for the service area. So,
I think that would be part of the road trip. My thoughts are basically 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 is I'd like to educate myself on the second floor.
What, number 7, the clearing barrel,
it's clearing barrel for weapons.
is that something will be set up upstairs then?
Yes, sir. So that is it's a clearing barrel, so anytime you need to unload a firearm for whatever reason, the muzzle firearm goes inside the barrel is, firearm is, made safe, it's like clear. And then that way, if there is an accident on this fire, it goes into this clearing barrel, so it's just, fly down the roof or whatever.
So is this something that will regularly happen, or is it just an occasional, like anytime you're unloading your weapon, you?
So anytime we're doing any kind of training, as far as ammunition, room clearing, taser training, anything like that, there's never, supposed to be any live weapons in the area, so the officer don't have to remove their weapons, they have to make them safe, they have to discharge any, remove any, rounds that are inside that vehicle or that firearm. So we do try to do, fairly regular training out there. So yes, anytime that we would do the training, that has to be,
Do the barrels contain the sound too? I don't want sound to get scared. From upstairs, it's a little loud.
that I do not know. I don't know how that is.
But you're not actually firing it.
No.
That is just to contain it if there is a
Just
misfire.
Oh,
And then also, when you reload the weapon as well, so when you chamber around, you would have the firearm inside the barrel, chamber around. Now, the firearms we use, they don't necessarily slam fire. So a lot of the older weapons, when you chamber one, they could cause slam fire. So as you chamber, pressure could cause the round to go off. Newer weapons generally don't do that, 99.99% of the time. But to be on the safe side, would be reloaded in that same barrel, to make sure no rounds are being slam fire or accidentally discharged.
How do you do it now? You don't have one of these right now, right?
We should be able to have one right now. So right now, I mean, you just use, your safety
Is there
training.
a specific room or an area that is used as this is my,
So we have when you go into the office, and I know you're not familiar with it, but there's a room, is a concrete / brick room, basically, that leads to the outside fire escape. So that's, where we do any, clearing weapons to be in that area.
It's something that should be able to be done safely. This is just kind of an extra.
This is an extra, yes, sir.
I've got guns, I unload,
Right,
one chamber with
yeah, in a safe manner, but, you always want to, err on the side of caution.
So do you want to wait on that whole section until you can get the tour for those who Heather, James, you both express that.
I think it would be, yes, so we can kind of go into what we're doing. Anybody else agree?
So we just go back to the ammunition request that we talked about. More think about it, if you go to Walmart, Gun World, Bigfoot, the animals, I mean, obviously, we want it to be stored safely, but it's not.
Right, that's our
It's not, Walmart's got, shotgun ammo right there on the shelf that you can walk.
Right.
There's no special, exceptionally special care provided for.
There's no, anything special there. Like I say, we would try to go above and beyond, right, by having it in a metal.
You're gonna have it locked up, it's not all of this part of the plan.
Yes, you know, like in the vault, so, and these are the bank vaults, so I've not personally inspected them, but I am under the assumption that those were built, a little bit sturdier from the floor up, as far as bank vault goes. So if something were to happen, it should be somewhat contained to that.
We're just looking at standard operating procedures for safety protocol, the fire department, which we said we did not have anything documented. That's one thing I was asking for, the documentation. Before we added, and it's absorbent amount of ammo out of what we normally maintain. I just like, we should document our safety protocols, and that was what we originally talked about a while ago. Before we made a big buy.
Let's have, if we run away, that's fine. No problem. I'm good with it, it's fine. We can make sure everything's.
And then I did have, two other items, that I did not get on the list. So one of the items, Officer Meade bought a, like a veteran cage to go inside this vehicle. So it's a partition, between the front seat and back seat. So when you arrest somebody, they're behind in the back seat, behind the partition, to keep them from being able to physically attack you or whatever.
You already have a change.
No, sir, we do not. So, he found one, he bought it with his own money. He would just like to have it installed. And I do have a estimate, from, the emergency repair services for $660. And we'd just like to see about getting that installed.
How much would it take?
I'm not sure how much it was, sir. Didn't ask me.
Well, you know, the install, it belongs to the town of Clark.
Yes, sir.
So how do we handle something like that? Do we document it, some sort of MOU that Officer Meeks bought a cage and we paid to install it in a town vehicle, that ownership changes and that it stays with the car? How do we handle that kind of stuff? I mean, honestly,
For the, not with the police, we can draw something, but I'm not aware, I don't recall ever drafting anything previously.
And quite often, you know, again, the officers buy their own stuff, but a lot of the stuff they've been able to personally install, like extra lines or radar or something along those lines. We didn't have to have it installed by any kind of professional individual. This is a little different, and you can install by somebody who knows what you're doing.
So any modifications to the vehicle, putting this in?
Excuse me, sir?
Any modifications to the vehicle?
Not that I'm aware of, no, it should not, no.
we need to develop the MOU and how we're handling that. We're mixing properties. And town owned. I think this is different than I plugged a radio into a
Yes.
cigarette lighter, kind of a thing, is what I'm saying.
Chris, do you think you could drive something up on that for the next meeting? So it should be a email.
Sir. And then the last thing I have, so Officer Harrod has been having some problems with some of his police like bar, not being able to figure out what situation is on that. So we would like to just basically just go and have the new lighting in his vehicle for him at $2,350.
So do we take it to the shop and have somebody look at it electrically?
We have not, we've had numerous people who do that for a living, who look at it for us without having to take it to the shop. We're trying to again save money, we have them go to it and have them look at theirs, especially if we have somebody who look at them say, I don't know what's wrong with this. So, just, you know, it's not working properly, we can't figure out, no one seems to figure out why. So I don't know if there's a short in the system, they aren't able to find, if it was damaged, some of the weather that we've had. We did have some hail damage to some vehicles as well as some water damage We just can't, get a handle of why it's not working
Done your due diligence then on getting checked out, so. Okay, motion on that, you got replaced.
Do we have one on insurance claim or anything for the damage?
We have not, no ma'am.
We didn't turn anything in on any of the cars on any damage for hail or flooding?
For mine, yes, ma'am. For the hail damage, we did not. We were told that there was a $10,000 deductible for each vehicle, so we did not turn in that.
How much was this light motor again?
$350.
$2,350.
Maybe we have to take the car too to have that replaced. Who does that
Oh,
installation?
that would be through John Jones.
John Jones.
So moved. Is there a second on that? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you all very much.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening.
I'm gonna call this break back to the podium.
Yes, sir.
Please.
I mean, I was just commenting that the Kindermans are taking up a lot of time.
He's getting long,
We'll keep going.
but I'm gonna talk to him about that. Okay, I read through your expense sheet here, and then I see the county card is listed at $77,500. I don't remember your dissertation regarding
I did not make one. That is what we would love to see the town invest in our downtown for this next coming year via Main Street.
Year before last, 25, last year, 40.
2026 was 40, 2025 was 60,
I'm sorry.
60. 24 and 23 was 75.
My motion is to approve $50,000 for 2027. That's to be included into our budget with the same constraints that we operate under now, no salaries.
We're,
The events and stuff like that, like
Well,
we should do.
well, we would like for those constraints to be loosened a bit.
On that. Not for me.
Second.
Well, but if we want to do that, then I'll withdraw the.
And
This is a request to be included with the budget with our budget for 2027.
correct, and I was
So
gonna say,
we don't need
you don't
to make a decision on this
No.
tonight. We can-
I apologize for calling you back to the podium.
Sir, you're welcome to call me back to the podium anytime you would like.
I'm done. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
So, do we have any words back?
I only have two things. I just need two bonds signed. One is for Officer Eric and one is for our new planning and zoning, individual and the town manager assistant, Megan Atherton. So I just need those signed and then just my normal stuff to be signed. That's it.
I got one form for Matt.
Sir.
I'm sorry, no, on the bonds, a motion to approve the bonds, for us to sign those, still moved. Second.
Yes.
Second thing. All in favor? Opposed?
We have 12 vehicles that are not taxed. Is that correct? Did we get any of those done? GPS?
We have not gotten those in this, so he has been extremely busy.
Okay, when we going to get them done?
So hopefully within the next month.
We need a date, Matt.
Is
Just give us
that,
a date when you're gonna have it done by.
I can't give you a date because it's my officer, so we have to, I mean, he's coming in at his off duty time to do this. So I can't tell you for sure when he'll be available to get it done, but he does think he can have it done next month. It's just this,
I
so,
said 12 Sanders, if that's with the new vehicles.
Well, he's got some vehicles, he's getting ready to get another one, well, his is going away. as soon as he gets his equipment out, then the insurance is picking up the SUV that's flooded.
How many?
Well, you got what, 9 vehicles?
We have 9, yes, ma'am, that are full-time, and then 2,
But then the Polaris and then the truck, so is that what, 11?
so we have 9 total, not including the pool cars, but two pool cars and then the others.
Okay,
Clarify that for me. We have 9 2-pool cars, which makes it 11,
Yes, sir. And then,
and the Polaris, 12.
12, yeah.
Okay, so I had it right first.
so you did.
Thank you.
So I say if we don't get this done within the next month, then we hire individuals outside of the local police department to have them installed. We need to get this done because we've had it on our insurance for this year. For sure. That's part of it.
We do have a list of everything up to this point. We're not
You will.
all that has been completed. We have a list of
To my knowledge, yes.
I don't know if he's done.
He hasn't done any of the listing for your alls, but the rest of the vehicles from the PPS,
But I know there are several new vehicles that were purchased, I don't think he's done those.
no. He has not done any of the new vehicles. Because we've just got them within the last month.
We have 4 new vehicles.
So we've got
Well,
16
that's
vehicles,
16
so-
out there.
So yeah, I need to order 4 more, if not 5 more. Yeah.
Let's get that done. Please.
All right, any other business or we brought up this evening? Anyone? Old, new? Nope. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, Chris.
No, that was just an ordinance for you guys to sign. I don't know if something I hit.
Oh, okay, okay.
You don't need it. It's already acted on.
I think it might have worked way, not, Heather's in the statute.
So then that's that.
Okay, okay, great. All right, then, I'll
There's
entertain
2 copies there. One for me, one for Sandra.
motion to adjourn. We can sign after.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody.
Oh.